Okay. For the first card, we have the world in reverse. This is for Aquarius Sun, Aquarius Moon, and Aquarius Risings. So, the world in reverse, this is about us having more work to do in order to attain our self-actualization. So a lot of times this card tends to pop up when we are repeating a mistake or repeating a pattern of behavior that is not good for us. It's kind of like the definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result, except for this is regarding our lessons. So this is where we can, I'm not saying anybody's insane, but well, honestly, we're all nuts. I say everybody in this world's a little nuts. Some of us are more nuts than others. You just got to pick the nut that you can deal with the best, So, choose your friends and family wisely. And when I say family, we can't help what we're born into, but we can make our own family, if you catch my drift. Okay, back to being on point. So, this is where we can end up repeating a certain mistake, and you'll know what this is or what this is representing for you. So, we tend to repeat a mistake. Sometimes we don't mean to. Sometimes we know that we shouldn't repeat the mistake. Sometimes it just happens. Some of us are actively fighting against doing it, but in time you will be able to conquer it. So don't get down on yourself. This is not a traumatizing type of card, so it's just indicating that there is still more work that needs to be done before we can have those karmic rewards, so to speak. And typically this is about inner work. This is, about working on our personal development, our soul work. So that should resonate. Okay, so we clarify we have the Ace of Wands. So I love this card. This is like the hand of God, so to speak. So this is where we are definitely given a new start. So perhaps some of you might have had a new start, gone off in a new direction, and maybe we fell back on an old bad habit, or fell back into, a negative attitude, something of that nature. So we had a new start, and then we kind of fell backwards. So we have more work to do. Not to say that this new start is completely doomed, okay? It's just we must do the work. So for those of you who don't know what it is that you could potentially be repeating, this would definitely be a time to go within, reflect, do some introspection, meditation, and just allow the thoughts to naturally come. Don't control your thoughts. Just, you want to quiet your thoughts and then listen to what comes in. But my feeling is that most of you will already know exactly what it is. And so we just need to, work on correcting that particular thing. And then we can continue forward with our new beginning, our new start, our new direction, our new path. So this would be our circumstances. So we have the Star card in the reverse position. So ultimately, I always say this is a test of our faith, okay? Because the Star card represents a wish that we have. The Star card is also about our creative abilities and talents. So when we see this card in the reversed position, automatically I know that our faith is being tested here. But along with that, sometimes we're going after something and then we realize it's just not working out. So then sometimes we can become kind of hopeless, feeling like this is a hopeless situation. I'll never get this, I'll never get that, or this person will never change, whatever it may be. Now, a few of you this will resonate with. This can indicate that perhaps you might be having issues with an anxiety or depression type of disorder. This could be something that's been temporary, or this could be something that is somewhat new, but this can definitely indicate for a few of you here that, our health could be not so hot right now, and this is where we really need to take a break. We need to be patient with ourselves. We need to potentially seek out medical help and or advice if that resonates with you. Now, again, this card is about wanting something. We've hoped for something, we've wished for something, and it's not panning out, and this can bring a sense of hopelessness. But with the Star card in reverse, this can also indicate that you do have some creative ability or talents, and for some of you they could be hidden. So for some of you, you could really benefit by doing some meditation and introspection, because this would definitely be indicating that there is some sort of creative ability or talent within you. Now, some of you may already know what that is. Maybe you just pushed it aside several years ago and you've just ignored it. You've not nurtured it. And if this particular part resonates with you, start to nurture it, because you'll really be surprised. Don't worry about what everybody else thinks. If you feel like this particular skill or ability might make people look at you differently, you have to be true to yourself above all else, okay? We don't want to live this life and at the end have regrets. I wish I had done this, I wish I had done that, So you need to be true to yourself. If you have this ability, nurture it. Let it grow. And don't worry about what other people think. But again, this is faith being tested. Okay, so we clarify we have the Page of Cups. So the Page of Cups, this can be about us receiving some sort of messages, and they could have a bit of a romantic type of context to them. If they're not romantic, then they could be encouraging type of messages. This is also a card of psychic abilities in the beginning stages. So for some of you, this could definitely be indicating psychic abilities that you may have. So you might be feeling blocked. That'll resonate with a few of you. Now, some of you could be feeling hopeless in regards to a situation where there could be a romantic interest. Maybe things haven't worked out. Maybe they didn't work out because the other person. Maybe they haven't worked out because it is your fear. Maybe your anxiety getting in the way. Maybe you have a hard time expressing yourself. Maybe you have a fear of being vulnerable and showing that emotion. The Page of Cups definitely has no problem in expressing emotion at all. So typically I normally associate this card with Pisces, but the water element. So water would also be symbolic of emotions, but if we're dealing with the water signs, this could be someone that is Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, or someone that just has an emotional type of nature. This could be someone that is younger for some of you. For a few of you, this could be indicating a child. Maybe a young child in your life, probably a teenager. Maybe they're interested in getting into a relationship, or they're starting to be really curious about that. And maybe this could be making you feel, hopeless, like, oh dear, what do I do? Unfortunately, we just kind of got to let it happen. And that can really suck. But, But typically the Page of Cups is someone that wants to help. So perhaps for some of you guys, you actually have someone in your life that wants to help, but maybe you're not allowing them in. Maybe you're not letting your guard down for them to get in. This could be a good friend. This could be a family member. This could be someone who's interested in you romantically. Every Aquarius, sun, moon, and rising sign is different, but yeah. Okay, so this would be the focus. So we have the Queen of Cups in the reverse position. So she is definitely going through something. A lot of times with this card, there tends to be a lot of worry. Sometimes this can be worrying about things in which we have no control over. So that's kind of like senseless worry. I mean, I can't say much. I've done the same thing myself. We're all guilty of it, It happens. But sometimes with this card, there can be a tendency to perhaps exaggerate the conditions. And it can also be an indication that there could be some emotional outbursts you might be dealing with, whether they're from yourself or from someone else. This can go either way. And again, sure, we have the Queen of Cups, but this can be indicating someone that is male or female. Okay. But we also, again, have the water element, so we are dealing with emotions. Now, typically with the Queen of Cups in reverse, I always look at this card as this is a woman who is making her choices and her decisions through her emotions, and she is emotionally out of balance, and that is not the way we want to be making our decisions. We want to be making them with our intellect, but sometimes we go through emotionally provoking type of situations. So this would definitely be indicating that the emotions are perhaps getting the better of us. That'll resonate with some of you. I mean, overall with this energy, either you or, someone who has this type of energy, you would mean well, but sometimes you just having a hard time seeing through a turbulent type of situation. So let's take a look. I mean, ultimately, you really just need to take a deep breath. Sometimes, okay, yeah, Priestess. All right. So the Queen of Cups in reverse, sometimes this can indicate someone who is being secretive, or it can also indicate someone who has a bit of a self-deceptive type of personality. So we clarify we have the Priestess in the reverse position. So when I see these two cards together, this is really driving home that we could be potentially dealing with some self-deception. Now that's going to resonate with some of you, not all of you. Now for the rest of you, this could simply be indicating that you are not listening to your higher mind, that inner voice, your intuition. It's like there is a situation that is, somewhat mysterious that's taking place in our life. It could be a situation or a person, and there is like a shroud of mystery around it. So it's kind of like a puzzle that we got to put together piece by piece, okay? But when we have the Priestess in reverse, it's like we flip that switch and we turn off that inner voice, that inner knowing, our gut intuition, our higher mind. So we really need to turn that back on. Maybe for some of you, you don't like what you're hearing from your higher mind or from your inner knowing, but we really need to listen. You don't want to deceive yourself, okay? Because that just kind of really gets us into a tangled web that is hard to get out of. But this is definitely indicating that there is a situation or a person in your life that there is a mystery around. And this is always, there's more than meets the eye to a situation type of thing. We need to look closer, but we really need to be listening to our gut feeling, to our intuition, to our higher mind. So if you flipped that switch, Aquarius, flip it back on, because you really need to listen. You may not like what the voice has to say, but ultimately that voice is not leading you in the wrong way. You may fear that it has, but as it sits right now, these two cards together are both indicating, that a self-deception personality. We don't want to be deceiving ourselves, okay? We need to see things exactly how they are. Okay, so this would be your recent past. So we have the Moon card. So the Moon card always appears, we might have that feeling that I can just feel that there is something big coming. There is like a big change coming. This is the type of card that pops up when you feel and you know that there is a change coming, that something big is coming. The Moon card pops out to be like, you're right. But this is the past. So the Moon tends to exaggerate, yet again, our emotions. So this can definitely lead to us having emotional outbursts. This can definitely make us make a mountain out of a molehill, so to speak. But this is also a card that every time I see it, I always strongly recommend that you pay attention to your dreams and that you pay attention to any of your gut feelings. Pay attention, because a lot of times good psychic information does come in. A lot of time it's through dreams, but not everybody can remember their dreams like that, so sometimes it can happen during waking life. Now, there is another element. Sometimes the Moon card can be indicating that there is deception from others. So, someone else lying to you. The Moon's about clandestine type of activities. Things we would want hidden from the light. Okay, so clarifying, we have the Ace of Cups in the reverse position. So when the Ace of Cups is in reverse, this definitely represents, an outpouring of emotion. So our emotions have rushed out. The cup is empty now. So yeah, it's definitely safe to say that there was some emotional outbursts. And seeing the Moon card here, they were probably, I don't blame you. I don't blame you at all. Now, sometimes this can indicate that perhaps maybe others might be looking at us like we might be coming across a bit selfish, even though that may not really be true. It's just, unfortunately, that can be the perception of some, because there's a tendency to get busy with the day-to-day things and we're very consumed by life and all of our responsibilities and whatnot, and so we may not be able to pay 100% attention to someone that we care about or love, again, romantic or platonic. And sometimes they can take this as you're emotionally closed off. Well, I'm sure that wouldn't be the first time you guys have ever heard that, Aquarius. But I'm always a big defender of Aquarius because I know that you guys have emotions. You may tend to intellectualize them from time to time, but you guys have emotions. You just aren't going to show them to just anybody. So the whole entire natal chart does make a huge difference because every Aquarius sun, moon, and rising is different. But you guys have emotions, so just know that I understand that about you. Okay, so sometimes this can be us not being so trusting. And this can be due to us getting hurt in the past. And so sometimes we're not as open to a love type of experience, relationship, whatever it may be. Now, the Ace of Cups in reverse combined with the Moon, this could definitely indicate a bit of a psychic block as well, where you may feel blocked from your intuition, or maybe having a hard time with it, maybe not 100% blocked. It could be like intermittent, where you receive some psychic information and then you feel like you're blocked, and then here comes some more, and it's like just bits and pieces. Now, sometimes this can also indicate that there could be a fear of starting over in a relationship, say a current or an existing relationship that you had. Maybe you have a fear of starting over in a relationship. This can be about insecurity. Sometimes this is about, should I trust this person? Sometimes you shouldn't. Given the cards, but sometimes we can make a situation worse. And for those of you who had a new relationship, this can definitely indicate one that is very rocky, and it may have not ended up well. There could have been some difficulties, and there could have been some deception.